Hello everyone, Peta Hewitt, la-artistino here on this dreary Friday afternoon in Australia, and I'm here to talk to you about the newest colour pencils released from Derwent, the Procolour pencils. Now these are brand new, they have just come on the market last August. They are available in the UK at present and on UK Amazon and UK eBay. But I haven't actually seen them around much anywhere else. I think they have now been listed on the US Amazon sites, but nowhere in Australia can I find these pencils being sold. In fact, I spoke to several art shops and they had not even heard of them. So that's how new they are. Anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about it. I bought this 72 set of Procolour pencils just at the start of August. I had to buy off a seller who had them on eBay, that's the UK eBay. I purchased, their list price at the time was £137 and some change, and I've looked today and I've seen that the price has dropped somewhat, quite a bit actually. I've seen them go as low as about £90. So, and converting that into Australian dollars, I paid $214 Australian, plus I needed to pay the shipping, which worked out to about another $30 Australian. They arrived in a cardboard box wrapped inside of some bubble wrap, so they were well protected. I've got no dents in the box at all, and I'll open up these little beauties and show you now. They come in 2 layers and on these plastic little insets, and you've got the whole, as you can see, some of them have been sharpened by me and some of them still have their dull points. When they arrive, it's one thing I will say, when they arrive they are partially sharpened. If I can, oh, that's probably not a good colour to show you. Where's one that you can see? Okay, one of the blues. They arrive sharpened with a point like this, and which isn't very good to test them with. So if you want to see them at their best, I would say get your sharpener out and give them a nice bright point. Now the barrel, as you can see, is this lovely matte dark grey colour. The writing on them is stamped in silver. Very easy to read, which is good. I know I complain about quite a few pencils where the writing is difficult to read on them, but this is very easy. You've got the Derwent Procolour name, made in silver. They've got the dipped tips that show you what colour it is. Some of these are very accurate, some of these are not so accurate, so I would suggest swatching these out and keeping a list of the colours with you when you're using them. Some of them are very accurate, as I said, but some of them not so much. Now I'll show you the range of colours that come in. Here's my swatch book. If I open that up, okay, and I might just zoom in a little bit. That is the range that they come in. Good range of colours compared to my old 30-year-old set of Derwents, which is the colours here in the 72 set as well. There's been quite a few changes. There are a lot more very pale colours here. If you look down here, you've got salmon, you've got this Mars violet, you've got heather and soft violet. These are very light pencils, and on a lot of paper when you use them you won't actually see much. They look very, very pale, almost white, which makes them very good for blending colours. And if you like blending with white, you can certainly blend with these colours as well to give you a soft tint of what particular colour range you're sort of like spectrum you're going to. So like the heathers are more pinky purple, you've got the salmon and the flesh pink, which are very pale. These are great skin colours as well. The addition of the Mars violet I really like. I think that's a great colour if you're doing skin tones as well. There's a couple of pencils that I regret they've removed. They no longer have the jade green, which was a very bright green, or the emerald green. Both of those I liked using, were quite bright, and they've been taken out of the range. If I turn back and find the other page, there you go. Right, that was the emerald there, and that was the jade there. As you can see, they're beautiful bright colours. Now, speaking of the colour range, you will notice these are realistic colours. Derwent developed this range over 2 years in conjunction with a number of artists who were helping them trial and the materials as they were being developed. So what I mean by it's a bit more of a natural range of colours, if I compare it to, say, right, the Colleen's here, see how retrofyingly bright these Colleens are. They're very fun colours, but they're not terribly realistic. And you compare it with these are still bright, beautiful colours, but they're more natural tones. Now, I actually have a preference for the Derwent range of colours, and I've often said that my ideal pencils is a cross between the Derwent Artist for the colour range and the Polychromos pencils for the feel and the way that they lay down. And I think Procolour actually ticks both those boxes. It's got the great Derwent range of natural looking colours, but the laydown is very similar to the Polychromos. Now, look at just the Derwent range, I would say that these pencils are a cross between the Derwent Artist range, which is one of the hardest artist pencils you can get, and the Derwent Coloursoft range, which is very soft and is quite comparable to the American brand Prismacolor Premier. Now, I'll put them out the way. I will show you an example of how they work on black, which is very interesting to see, because I'm looking here at how opaque the pencils are. And these are all these pencils that have been swatched down onto a black piece of paper. I've used a Canson Artist Series sheet of black paper here for this, and this is fun for people who like to do wonderful doodles and pictures on black paper. And these will work very well. As you can see, they are quite opaque, and the lighter colours in particular really stand out. I would be very happy to use these colours when creating a picture on black paper, and I think they would do very well on tone paper as well, that's grey toned or the brown toned that you can get from Strathmore. Now, how do they perform in your colouring books, which is like the big question here. Are they good for colouring books? Well, I've got Hanna Karlzon Seasons here, which I got sort of concurrently with these pencils, so that seemed like a good idea to use the pencils in it. Now, if I just get to the page, now people on Instagram would have got a sneak preview of this. This is the picture that I coloured in using the Coloursoft pencils, and really enjoyed doing this. As you can see, you've got gorgeous, bright, luminescent colours. I found that the laydown was very, very similar to Polychromos. These are a waxed base pencil, but they do feel a bit waxy to use, but in a pleasant way. I found them a little bit squeaky at times. They held a great tip. I very rarely had to resharpen the pencils, even the greenish bottle green colour that you've got around here. I did the whole thing. I think I only sharpened the pencil maybe once or twice. These pencils are great if you love to lay down multiple layers of soft colour to build up your colour and the depth of your colour. They blend beautifully by themselves, or using a blending stump or blending pencil, or the blending mediums that you can get, the liquids that you can get to blend with. The binder in these pencils breaks down really quickly and allows the colour to be moved around and smoothed out on the paper and blend really, really nice. These pencils aren't as soft as your Prismacolor Premiers. If you expect them to be super soft, they're not. They are a cross between the hardness between an artist pencil and a Coloursoft pencil, as I said, and very, very, probably slightly softer, I think, than the Polychromos, as that's where I just put the softness range. Now, they only come in 72 at present. You can buy them in tins of 12, 24 or 36. I have seen them online buying as singles, and as all the Derwent range can be bought as singles. I assume when these pencils become more widely available, we'll start to see the singles coming up in shops. Now, the only other thing I can think about when using these pencils is because the cores are quite soft, when sharpened really to a real high point, a lot of pressure on them, you may have a point snap off. Now, I didn't have any problems with this happening to me, except when I was using the dark violet, this one right here, and I found that twice when colouring the little details down here, when I was pressing particularly hard, I had the very tiny last millimetre of pencil snap off. That's the only one that happened to. I didn't have any problems with that with any of the others. Not enough to bother me. I just am aware that with that particular colour not to press so hard. As with all pencils, there's a slight difference between each of the individual pencils, as of course you've got different pigments in the pencils, and therefore the the formulation are a little bit different. So some pencils are slightly softer than others, some pencils are slightly harder than others. And when you've got a range of pencils, you do want to use them a lot and experiment with them on other paper so that you can get familiar with the personality of each pencil in your pencil set. And that way you will get the best results, because you'll know what to reach for when you're mixing and colouring. Should you buy these pencils? Big question. Now, it depends. If you're looking for a pencil that is a little bit softer than the Polychromos, and I do mean a little bit, they're very similar to the Polychromos, but not as soft as the Prismacolor Premier. If you like to do lots of multiple layers when you're colouring and to build up your colour, these are excellent. If you want a pencil that holds a fine point but still lays down a decent amount of colour when you're colouring little details, these pencils are also perfect. I love them. I'm very glad I've got them in my colour range. I will be using them some more, definitely. I want to experiment with them in my other books. I think they're going to be perfect for the Enchanted Forest and other books by Joanna Basford, and I think they'll perform well on any paper which has got a fair amount of tooth. I think I've seen other artists say that even on the smooth Bristol board you will still get good performance out of these pencils. They're not quite as many layers. I'm going to enjoy experimenting with these. I think they're a lovely addition to your colouring set. If you haven't got the Derwent Artist but you're looking at getting a colour range along that line, I would recommend these over the Derwent Artist unless you like really hard pencils. And I hope this has been a useful review for you. I've got to get back to colouring now and I will leave you to it. Until next time, I hope you have a lot of fun on your colouring adventures, and until next time, I hope you're enjoying any colouring adventures that you are currently on, and until next time, happy colouring!